SD Gundam Legilis. Hey, what's up again, everybody? Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, GundamReviews.net. And in terms of the climax villain of Gundam Age, well, it was almost the Legilis and Zeheart, even though that came one episode early. But let's take a look at this Vegan/UE suit with two sets of eyes in its super deformed form. Lots of colorful small plates there, and when it's all put together, this is what you're going to be getting, including these weapons and accessories. A quick look at the parts now, where you can see that there's going to be yellow seals on the inside and outside of the feet, some lining opportunities, even more if you wanted to put them on, and you've got this shiny silver metallic-like sticker there that's going to be the top of the feet, with some very nice Adidas striping that are going to extend from the bottom to the back. Simple but effective waist section there. You can see the Adidas striping all the way with an action-based connector there. You'll notice that these attachment points are going to be swept back and that you're not going to have very much mobility. In fact, you're going to have none, except that nice little red jewel there is going to look good. So you do have the three colors where they count. Here's the chest, which is a little bit problematic when you put it together because it's not going to feel all that solid. First of all, you're going to have this regular polycap here, which is going to attach everything with a nice solid gray attachment there. The clear green part is going to attach onto the yellow vents behind it, and then you just put the blue part on, and you're actually going to be able to see it because it seems to just protrude just enough, even though it's not really protruding, that the light is going to catch it in the right way, compared to some other ones where you're actually better off putting on seals. But it's the back where you start to have the issues because there's not a lot of blue pieces here, but you are just going to attach these ones onto the back, which are just going to house this polycap, which it's very cool that it's going to be able to pop forward, but you can just see that everything just doesn't fit together all that well. And also you're going to have the choice to put on these seals or not, but you're going to have a little bit of trouble if you want to bring them all the way around. So the vents are going to look good, but I think it may almost be better off if you don't put on these yellow seals at all. Here's the arms, which just incredible the amount of color apps that you're going to have here, both thanks to the seals and the plastic. You can see the way that they're going to attach on, and this yellow part down here, Bandai again, one white part, one yellow part can add up to having all of these color differentiations, which is just great. The stripes look good there. I put some black stripe down the middle there. And then for the elbows, you're going to have this pretty standard now for SD, where you've got the white part, and then you've just got a polycap, so make sure you put the right one on the right arm there. And for down below, a little bit of black lining on the front and a yellow seal on the back, which you're not really going to see. You could also just line or paint that up yourself. But something I'm not, again, too crazy about is they give you these big white seals here for the sides of the manipulators, and the closer you get, the more poor it looks. So you're probably almost just better off leaving all gray hands, or of course, just painting it up properly. But otherwise, great color details there, including that little bit of gray, which certainly helps and make look like an MS inner frame. Now, probably the coolest feature of this kit is that even though we never saw it in the anime, is that it's going to have the ability to blast off with this core fighter type of internal body, which is going to take the tail and the leg, or the tail and the wings, and this little bit of neck part, so you could of course have the head on, which is going to make it look like a very strange bat. In terms of colors, you've got this big yellow part there that's going to run most of the way through. This part up here is actually an all yellow piece, and you're going to put on this very white sticker that's going to cover up the sides and the top and the side, and not all that well. So you've got this part here, which is going to look really good, even though that it's internal. And then you have the white and yellow differentiation there. So good ideas, but it just would have been nice if this was actually a white piece for the majority of it. Although the yellow parts there are going to look pretty good whenever you do have it out, which is probably not going to be that often. In terms of the mobility here, you can see that the tail is going to swing around this much, so you can actually put it between the legs, which is going to look pretty bad. And then the nice striping on the back. These parts here are going to stick up very cool like fins. You can also use this as an attachment point. If you want to put it on an action base down here, you would plug it in like this, so you'd have this bat standing up like that. But in terms of the wings, these are going to wiggle around there, not all that much, and open up. And if you notice that the first thing you saw when they're painted up by a pro is that the inside should all be painted up nice gray. It's a little bit unfortunate because when you seal it up, and he is in his SD regular form, you're going to be seeing a lot of that ugly white on the inside. So one solution may just be to actually swap the wings off to the other side so that you're showing more of the white coming forward as opposed to that ugly parts on the inside. For the shield and weapons, though, you're going to have some very nice details. It's going to be a little bit hollow when you look at it in the back, and you can do some little paint additions down there if you really wanted to make this fancy. You can rotate this around so you can have it in either arm. But looking at the more important part, I used brown lining marker as I usually do on the red here, and then you're just going to have this nice yellow seal, which is going to sit in this recess pretty well. You could of course paint that up because it's going to give you all the right bevels in all the right places, and it's looking really cool with the nice three colors there. And the rifle was a bit of a surprise for me because when I took it out of the box, I thought it looked pretty good in just the gray and I wasn't too keen on putting these white stickers on. But it's when looking at the sticker here that I have to say Bandai did a pretty good job because they've got a raised section there, but then they've also got a recess. And what that allows you to do is when you're putting on the seal, you could just take a toothpick or something like that and actually make sure that all the white sticker gets in on the inside, so it's not going to be protruding in any of the wrong places. And even though it is a raised part, that's usually problematic when you put a seal on it. This one, I have to say, does a much better job than I expected, and you don't miss the plastic as much as you would think. Scope is looking good there in green, and you've got the ability to pop this part off. It's got a seal on either side, so when you just put it in the hand, it's going to look pretty sharp. I've always been a big fan here of the way the Vegans have their hands with their 3 fingers and then their 2 thumbs on either side. It looks really good, especially when it's done up in yellow. No such luck here. And also something that's just a little bit strange, that when they give you the seals, the white ones to put on the outside of these hands, they don't bother with this one here. But then again, it's going to look pretty good, whether he's threatening you forward or just saying, yes, Ezelcant, I will grasp the world in the palm of my hand. But back to the weaponization, you've got this yellow beam saber here, which is not a clear part, just the same yellow that you've seen for all the Adidas striping, but it's still a pretty cool effect. But I always say this, the most important thing about an SD Gundam is its head, and the Legilis. This is one of the more detailed heads I think we've ever seen, even though it doesn't have all that much plastic in it. First of all, nice camera lenses there on the back, lighting opportunities on the side. You're also going to have this red seal that actually works okay, even though again it's the raised surface. This one seems to work. It does have little perforations around there, so you can make sure that you put it down. But because you're going to be sliding another part around it, it actually fits pretty well. Something I'm not too keen on though is again you've got that nice silver metallic one there, and you're actually going to put on 3 different seals there. You can see the front one, the side one, and because this is the part where the head splits apart, it's going to be there on the back. It does leave that little bit of white though in the front, which is probably not all that good. Painted up, I'm sure it would look a lot better. In terms of these, they have been child-proof, so you can't open the aspirin. But anyway, for this, you can also cut it off and hopefully you won't poke your eye out. But for the sides of the heads, this is something that when you look at the side of the box, it looks fantastic from most angles except straight on, because they're going to give you these 2 yellow parts there. A little bit of black lighting is going to bring them to life. You plug them in, but they don't seem to plug in all that well there. So if anybody has had more luck with that, please let me know. But more importantly, for the front of the face, you have lots of good lighting opportunities again. And this red part here is plastic, not seals. And you'll notice that I've got the UE eyes in there, the Ezelcant eyes. It's clear green behind the gray. And again, you're not probably going to see it all that much just because the light, if it's coming off your roof, is going to hit this part. But it's still a really nice idea. If you catch it at the right angle, it's going to look quite good. And this being a newer SD Gundam, well, you can pop out the whole inside of the head, which is not all that easy if you've got it in there properly. But then you'll notice that it's got a big gray part there. You can pop that off and then choose either to put on this gray-green combo or just this gray part here with this old school, the regular serious eyes. And of course, if you want to make it even more cartoony and match the mysterious bat on the cover of the box, you can go for the fun set. So just looking at the parts, this is, being a 1,000 yen kit, really the equivalent of a high grade. You can see that it's got the equivalent of 3 plates over there, even though they just happen to be broken up into the smaller colors. And it really pays off. Compared to the old school SD Gundams, well, what else can you say? The fact that you've actually got a little bit of mobility down there for the ankles, the chest, it's not going to do much except for the fact that it allows for this whole core fighter gimmick, which is pretty monstrous. You can move the wings around and the tail in lots of cool ways. But it's the arms where you've got all those multicolors up there on the shoulders, combined with a cool looking weapon that's going to look better, color wraps on there on the waist section, and the head with the interchangeable eyes, the yellow details there. The seals are going to look good and make it look pretty shiny. Definitely high grade and everything except the grade, well, and the scale because it is the super deformed. But still lots of fun to put together, so stick around and I'll have the mobile suit all put together and the final verdict all in the next part. And as always, thanks for watching. See you next time, everybody. Sadly, in the state of mind that I was in, I don't even know if a core eject system would have actually helped me or not.